All right, hey guys, I think this will be the last video I make. We'll see. Got to pop this thing open. Hopefully it'll all go well and you'll be able to see it. And yeah, then it's just, you clean up the seams. And I'll kind of give a short demonstration of how that works. But for the most part, you'll get the whole experience here. So behind me, I still have Celia's mold. It's still still bound up. But I just kind of checked the clay, and it would appear as if it's ready to be popped open and cut open and all that. The reason I say appears is that you don't want to do it too soon. What can happen is the layer of clay next to the plaster can be dry, and the layer of clay that sits on the outside against the air can be dry. But in the middle, you can have sort of a jelly-like substance. And when that's all nice and jelly, if you mess around with it, it'll easily tear because it's not solid. And so you need that to be pretty well all firm. Now, slip cast clay is not at all like the clay that we hand build and throw with. It has a lot less water content in it. They add materials into it that makes it more slippery, so to speak, like it extends the water. And so you actually don't need to add as much water. However, and that means it dries really, really fast. All right, so let's try this out. You'll see right here, I got my guy flipped over. It's ready to go, and that's all well and good. So first thing, just kind of pop the strap off. I want to do this carefully. I don't want the mold to open up on me before I'm ready to have it opened up. So I'm just going to bring it off to the side and let it sit on the ground. That's fine. I got a knife, and make sure I know where the top is here. Don't want to do something I regret later. I'm just going to cut out the majority of the reservoir. So this is actually pretty quick. Right now it's 2:41. We left off the last video, I guess that's like 25 minutes ago. And I actually flipped this back over some 10-15 minutes ago. You don't want to leave this sitting upside down forever, especially if it's like a functional thing, because what happens is you get this sort of drip that develops on the bottom, and that just aesthetically doesn't look really good. It looks like a beginner sort of mistake. All right, so I've sliced the clay on the inside of the pour cup. This is all still good clay. I'm literally going to just take this and tear it up, put it back into my slip. It'll just kind of break down and become usable slip again. If you throw this stuff away, I mean, you're leaving literal money. Okay, not literal. That's literally a incorrect use of the word literal. You're leaving money on the table, so to speak. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before, but it's important to be cognizant of your resources and use them in the best fashion. So I just flipped this big guy over on top of this. I had to leave some money on the table, so to speak, because this bin isn't quite big enough to catch the tube. And for demonstration purpose, that's fine. If this were real life, I would find a better way of collecting all that slip. All right, so I just get that knife in between the two pieces, and I just kind of pop it open, lift it up. All right, so it's still, I don't want this to wobble at this point, so I'm just going to kind of lift this up off the table, get this out from underneath of it. Set it back down. Mold strap. Still going to leave this mold strap on there. I have this nice knife. Hard to see it. I'm sure they sell things like this all over the place. You could probably make something. This one's special to me. My friend Young Woo, where he recently heard from, he lives in Korea, reached out to him, and he said he's doing well. I'm glad to hear it. He wanted to make sure that I was doing well too. They get a lot of news about there being a lot of cases in the U.S. and I got to get back to him today and say, like, no, don't worry, Young Woo, everyone is fine. But what's nice about this, I specifically, when I went to Korea, we went to this ceramic store, which is pretty cool, a lot like the ceramic stores here, but they had this tool, and it's just a knife with an angle on it. I mean, if you heated up any knife, you could do this. This is great because now I can just cut it along the top of molds. I used to struggle with this so much. I would use a wire tool, which works, but would drag it, and I didn't like how that ruined some of my cups, so to speak. Like it would drag it off the mold and have to kind of finagle them back into place. This I can just run it right along the top seam there, and I can cut off this portion. And now this is flat with the top of the mold. Stick these pieces back into my clay. It's all good. Actually, at this point, I might just flip this up because I don't want to get those things I was talking about on the bottom of my cups. Little drippies, and I'm off screen, sorry. Put this back up here. Let's see what I'm doing. Actually, just gonna take this really quickly and smooth some of that out. All right, here comes the first part. Everyone who's watching this is probably thinking, okay, whatever. And Celia, who's watching this, is probably going to get real nervous. It's a mold, don't worry. If it does fail, it's the first time. That's kind of expected. And if it does fail, then I'll pour it again. Stick my knife in there. Yeah. There we go. Came off clean. There are good and better ways. You want to be smart about how you take these things apart. I think that having that little handle part on the bottom and having this propped up let gravity help me out. I don't want to take it apart like this because then it'll fall, right? I mean, it'll probably stick to one side, but it'll fall. I want gravity to help me out. We often forget that we always have gravity as one of our assistants, unless you're in outer space watching this, which would be pretty dope, but I doubt it's happening. All right, now it's free. Let's loosen this up. Loosen that side up. Just ever so slightly. I don't want to rush it and tear this apart. Pressure. Okay, so it's kind of sticking right here. That's fine. But if I try and just rip this off, it might rip the little object apart. So what I'm going to just do is, from the back, just try and separate it by forcing some air in there. It's not ready. I think I can get it from the other side. This happens. One side wants to stick more than the other. Can't explain. There we go. Pull a little piece of plaster off. That's fun. That's good. Gonna get rid of that eventually. See if I can coax it up just a little bit so that I don't have to make another video. And until it's stuck in there, I don't know what the deal is. What'd you do, Celia? There we go. So like I said, the first one is always sometimes the most precarious, but hey, it came out. Let's bring it around. You can see what happened. So there you go. I kind of rushed it. It probably would be better if it sat in there another 5-10 minutes. But for the sake of the video, which is now going on 10 minutes, wanted to get it out. But here you go. Look at that beautiful object Celia made. It's got a bottom that depresses. It's a nice shot with the light. You can see the inside. The next step would be to take a knife and run along, carve these seams down. It's best done when it dries up a bit more. Let's see if we can, there we go. See, there's that little seam. You just take a knife and you just, I take a sponge, clean that up, set it on the paper over here, and let it dry, just air dry. It can dry as fast as it really wants to. It doesn't need to go slow. Because it's slip cast, everything is the same thickness. There you have it. Well, that's slip casting. I hope everyone comes back next fall, that's coming back, and says, man, I gotta do some slip casting, Professor Growth. And I say, yeah, you do. Take Advanced Ceramics. Till next time.